What is up guys, my name is Mark and I'm a failing YouTuber, and in this video we're going to take a look at the hardest Linkin Park songs for singers. This is part of a series I'm doing. I already covered Queen, the Beatles and Michael Jackson, and after this video I'm going to cover Led Zeppelin. If you are interested in that, subscribe to the channel. Please. But let's just get into the list I created of what I think are the hardest songs to sing by Linkin Park, some of them being nearly impossible, honestly. So let's just get into that. On spot number 7, I chose a song called Leave Out All the Rest, mainly because this will be hard to sing for women because it contains a lot of low notes. Chester was able to go really low as well as really high in his chest voice, so this song is, I guess, possible to sing by some females, but most of the times it just could be impossible. The song goes all the way down to a V2 and even a C sharp 2 as well, so that is incredibly low for a woman.
After my dreaming, I woke with this fear. What am I leaving when I'm done here?
But also, if you are a male, it goes all the way up to a G4, which is after the passage of your voice. So if you are untrained, it's not easy either, so I just thought it could be a good spot to put this song in. On the spot number 6, I chose the very well-known song Numb. I think it's not what you would normally consider the hardest, but if you pay close attention to it, or if you try to sing it like I did and failed, you will realize that one of its biggest challenges is not running out of breath, because the phrasings are very quick and right after each other, doesn't give you a lot of time to breathe, so it becomes incredibly difficult. It requires a lot of power and distortion, I guess, to be sung properly because of its interpretation. So it's really hard to keep your voice from cracking, so it's just overall a really hard song. And in the spot number 5, I'm going to mention one more song that will be difficult for women mostly, and it's called Iridescent. I think that is the pronunciation, I'm sorry if I'm getting it wrong. This song has very well sung low notes but also high notes, so it could be difficult for both female and male singers.
You were standing in the wake of devastation when you were waiting on the edge of the unknown.
The only thing that maybe makes it a little bit easier is that it doesn't require distortion, as Chester sings it with a clean voice, that it was something he was able to do amazingly. In the spot number 4, we're getting into a really complicated area already. This song is named Crawling, and it just starts really high all of the sudden, and it has a lot of distortion and power. It has a high note which is sustained for 7 seconds near the end. Here's something really crazy about this graph. Normally, the blue lines would indicate the fundamental, which is the note being sung by Chester. But in this case, Chester's harmonics, especially the first one, above this fundamental, is so much stronger that the software that is analyzing his vocals actually confuses it and thinks he's singing 1 octave above. This could explain extremely quickly why Chester was able to sing in such high volumes, in a lot of instances without a microphone and being perfectly heard, because harmonics are used in operatic singing to create more volume so the singer can be heard above the orchestra. Operatic singers create way more harmonics than Chester does, but what doesn't happen in the case of opera singers is that their first harmonic is so much stronger than their fundamental. But one of the main reasons this song is in this spot is because there's this contrast between one of the parts that is sung with a completely clean voice.
Confusing, this lack of self-control I fear is never ending.
And the choruses, which are completely distorted and have a lot of power. So being able to do those things, those two things, just makes it all that much more complex. On the spot number 3, we have a song called No More Sorrow, and with this we are getting already into a dangerous zone, if you will. This song contains very high guttural screaming, you know, that classic screaming Chester was able to do, but it just goes incredibly high up to a D5, and just the entire song is in an area that most male singers would struggle to singing, so it's just completely difficult. And something really interesting about this song is that when it was sung live, Chester sung it with a different tone, especially in the beginning. It wasn't as aggressive, so it makes for a very interesting interpretation of the song as well. On the spot number 2, we have an insanely difficult song, which is very beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful ballads I've ever heard, and it's called The Messenger. It is kind of funny how crazy difficult this song is, because one of the beginning notes is already so high that it's the physical point of where male voice would normally break, and it only goes higher, like almost 1 octave higher from that point, still in chest voice. So imagine how insanely difficult this is to sing. Just remember you're loved, and you always will be. Chester did lower this song when performing it live, and it only makes sense because the studio version is just bananas and very beautiful. And on the spot number 1, I guess probably if you're a Linkin Park fan, you already guessed this. The song is called Giving Up, and yeah, the main reason it makes this spot is because it has this insane scream that lasts 17 seconds, no less, and it's just incredibly high and incredibly powerful. It is a D5 being sustained for 17 seconds, so it's just absolutely crazy. That's like the highest note a tenor in opera is demanded to sing, and sometimes it's even lower than that. But it's not just that scream, it also goes very high, like 14 times during the song, up to a B4. It's just incredibly difficult. So in the comments, please let me know what's your list, or if you agree, disagree with mine. Remember, it's subjective. I did research, but it is still subjective. But I do hope you enjoyed the video, and subscribe for more, and goodbye.
Subscribe, you worthless man. Unsubscribe, you worthless man. Unsubscribe, you worthless man. Unsubscribe, you worthless man. Unsubscribe, you